Hey Geeks, Barry here again, and today we're going to continue with the 30-day world building challenge. Today is day 2 in the world building challenge, and so we're going to be talking about weather and how it physically impacts the campaign setting. While we're also going to spend a quick little moment coming up and giving the campaign setting a name. So, pulling out our 30-day magical world building. I'm not going to read the whole before the exercise thing because it's kind of incongruent with what the actual exercise is wanting you to do. So we'll just discuss the exercise. So the exercise for today is: what role do you anticipate weather playing in your story? Do you have a lot of travel that you want to complicate with bad storms? Are you going to snow in your mighty heroes? Will there be a mighty battle that's determined by a sudden flood? You actually don't need to know right now. Your exercise for today is to jot down 10 plot devices that relate to weather and what you think they do to the story. So for example, a snow-in can turn the mood very claustrophobic or very intimate. So it's an interesting exercise for today because if you think about it, weather still, even in our modern society, weather has a big impact on our lives. Flights and travel and things of that nature can get delayed because of snowstorms and major thunderstorms. Here in Florida we have hurricanes, so that can really put a monkey wrench into anything. So, you know, don't gloss over weather and how it's going to impact your campaign setting. With this campaign setting, with me envisioning it, there being exploration, there's and hunting and things like that, I foresee weather playing a role in it. Now, I don't think there's going to have to be like cataclysmic weather because there's a couple of things I jotted down that can note to that, but I feel weather is going to be an important part and is going to play a factor. And in some cases, it can be part of the conflict or an addition to the conflict, or it could be the very conflict itself. So what I got is, to start off with, is just kind of fog. So that you can have easily a lost and separated party or lost and separated party member. They're trying to find each other. But they're also maybe trying to find their way back to camp or civilization. All the while, you could, if you want to go and ratchet up the attention, you can also have, you know, some kind of creature or monster or entity stalking them, and they aren't aware or can't see it. Rainstorm. Now, for this, I'm thinking like your normal just kind of dreary, rainy day to maybe a minor thunderstorm of note. And that's going to be a moment of reflection and community, since travel is going to be almost impossible. I think of a scene from a book I read, Across the Nightingale Floor. And the characters are holed up in a village while a few days of rainstorms pass through. They can't travel because basically most of the roads and whatnot are getting washed out and so forth. And so I see something similar, is like with a rainstorm, travel becomes difficult if it's not just like I said, your party or whatever. It's a good moment to just kind of get together, take a downtime, and maybe build some interpersonal drama. Similarly would be a snowstorm. Again, I'm not thinking in terms of like a full blizzard, but for this, again, it would be community coming together in almost like a celebration. I mean, it's January. Most of us are just coming off of Christmas, so I'm seeing something like that is like it's a time to celebrate hearth and home. But in the time period and maybe the world that we're setting this in, there's still just an underlining bit of, I wouldn't say dread, but drama, because winter is still there. Resources may not be as plentiful. So there, yeah. Next, I've got, now I go into some of the higher end, so I'm talking like Hurricane, Tempest. Something I'm very familiar with is like it is a race against time and the elements. There is a definite sense of urgency leading up to, and building up to the landfall of a hurricane. But I can see in like some instances where if you're talking about a time period where you don't have forecasting, maybe there's still going to be an air of urgency. Something is not right as the winds pick up and as the rain comes in. You're going to have people realize that this is not a regular storm, and then it's going to be a race to batten down the hatches, get to shelter, get to safe place, but then to also make it through the storm itself. And another interesting point for me, my experience, I don't know if it's just where I live and how things happen, but here in Florida, it always seems like the hurricanes come in at night. And so you might want to use that. I could use that to just ramp up the terror, the fear, and the dread, because you just have this monster of weather coming in at night, and you can't see much, and all you can do is hear the howls and screams of the wind and everything. So yes, blizzards. I have not been through one, but I would see that it's something a bit similar, but you're adding in the struggle to stay warm and to keep light, because again, blizzards, they always seem to me like dark, and you're trying to hold back the darkness with both light and warmth. To go back and kind of add into something a bit positive is rainstorm in a desert. Deserts, I know, do occasionally and will get rain, so this would be kind of like a celebration mixed with frantic movement as you're trying to get stuff in, but also get like water barrels and plants and other things out. But there is the potential for flash flood, because in an area where there is little participation, where you all of a sudden just get a whole lot of rain, that water has to go somewhere. So that's a danger and a hazard to keep in mind. Sandstorm. Sandstorm, I don't kind of see the same as fog, because with sandstorm, your sight and hearing are robbed. You can't really hear or see. So the fear and the drama of the unknown becomes a very palpable. What is just out of reach? Is there something out there searching for you, looking for you? But more so, what may be unearthed or appear after the sandstorm? It can be both like good and bad. Maybe suddenly a hidden temple is made aware. Something here in the South we deal with is heat wave. And I'm talking like heat wave with humidity, and that is just, the air feels like a wet blanket around you. And the most basic of chores or activities become just an absolute struggle. So in those moments, really it is trying to get cool and trying to stay hydrated and find water become your top priorities. But, you know, nothing overly dreadful, I think. So could be a great, you know, ubiquitous, uncalled for beach episode. Finally, spring, and I'm talking about like when spring comes, the first hit of warm weather after like months or weeks of cold. There's a crispness in the air that announces spring's on the way. So I see that, you know, life and nature are coming back. But one of the struggles, particularly in like this Monster Hunter world, that I'm thinking is you're going to have to deal with the struggle, but maybe the elegance of, you know, animals mating, because deer or elk can become quite aggressive during those times. So those are some plot devices and thoughts I had with weather and tying it to the actual world itself. Now for the actual name. I know in the video game, I don't think they actually give a name for the continent or island or wherever they are. But for me, I think I'm going to call it Aestaria. Aestaria, I think is how you might pronounce it. Right now, the meaning, I haven't really nailed down the meaning, but I think I want it to be tied to like a hopeful past, so to say. Maybe that's a place, a deity, creature, or something, but I definitely see that as the characters come over and everything, there is a sense of newness, a sense of adventure and hopefulness. So they're going to name things in such a manner, and that's kind of why I went with Aestaria. It's a very light and airy name to it, so it's uplifting in my mind. So anyways, that's today's exercise. I hope you liked it. Again, I'm really excited to see how this thing goes out. I think after day 3, I'm going to probably start creating a virtual notebook and sharing it that way. Because I think after day 3, things really start, you start to get into the nuts and bolts and things. But anyways, as always, I really would love to hear from y'all. If you've got any suggestions or participate ideas, I'm not opposed to making this a community thing. In the meantime, here's some other videos you might be interested in on my channel. I've got other vlogs, painting tutorials, things of that nature. But as always, be sure to like, subscribe, hit the bell notification, and I'll see y'all next time.